family members talk to us.
Okay, we got the microphone working again. It is, welcome to Northern Neck January 6th Vigil. It is November 29th, 2024. It is day 1,423 since January 6th. We're starting a little early tonight. We've got a back full of callers. We're going to start with James Grant at 7 o'clock, and I think we'll have people lined up right after that. And we start with the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to go into the calls, and we'll end at 9 o'clock with a call from the DC Gulag and sing the national anthem. So we'll get started and give James a call here. Heavenly Father, this is Thanksgiving week, and many of us have talked about what we're thankful for, and the January 6ers especially. We're thankful for those that have made their way outside of incarceration or home with families, but there's so many others that are waiting for that opportunity, and we know that we're going to do everything we can to keep that going so that they can get home, and we hope that President Trump does what he said he's going to do and pardons all the J6ers, as soon as he possibly can. And again, as we look forward to the Christmas holidays, we'll have all the children and the families that are impacted in our hearts and our souls, and we look forward to your help to make this a wonderful holiday season for them as best as it can be. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you guys been watching the DC Vigils nightly? I didn't see it last night. I missed it, but the night before I did. It was really, really moving.
Yeah, I saw a few of them. That's why I learned about about Dominic Box, why he wasn't here last week.
Yeah, so I think Dominic's is going to try to talk to us tonight, from what I heard. I hope so.
He was sick. He had a bad cough.
All right, it's almost 7, so we're going to get James. Can you turn that?
James Grant.
Hey, James Grant, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Tom. I'm currently a little frustrated. I'm looking at, so I don't know if you guys saw that video I posted. It went pretty big on X, where I kind of point out everything wrong with January 6th.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
Yep.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
so, it's been doing really well, but, I'm trying to reach everyone with it. So I tried to share it on TikTok, which is actually where I made it, and they shut it down. They took the video down. So I tried again, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe because, it shows the Ashley Babbitt shooting and the Roseanne Boylan thing. So I completely cut that out. I took that part of it out, and I just said, 4 people died that day, but they were all protesters. And I edited the whole thing with anything that could be construed as graphic out. And I'm reading it now. I was actually reading it when you called. I'm reading it, and it says, it went against the community guidelines based on misinformation.
Oh, wow.
And it says, like, I can read it. It says, we operate on a system, we do not allow misinformation that may cause significant harm to individuals or society regardless of intent. We rely on independent fact-checking partners, guidance from public health authorities, and they said some nonsense about agreeing to a shared set of facts or something. Like, we all agree to basically recognizing what is real. I'm like, what did I post that was inaccurate? Did this guy not get 48 hours for punching a female cop in the face when we all got years in prison? Did 4 people not die that day? Did Brian Sicknick not die of natural causes? I mean, there's literally nothing. If I'm wrong, point out why. But that's what they do, and I should be used to this, Tom, because I used to have a TikTok account, And this app is not organic at all. It is the most controlled app ever, and that's what the left does. Their whole narrative is based on controlling and just guiding the narrative where they want and spreading lies. And that's why the January 6ers got so much time, is because of that original lie. I talk to people out all the time. I talk to whoever I see. And these people, when I tell them 4 people died that day, they said, no, I just thought 2 cops died. I remember talking to someone in what we call the dungeon, which is in the bottom of the DC jail. It's where the holding cells when you're going to court. And people think like multiple cops died that day and that we stormed the building and killed them. And it's based off these lies that the mainstream media, and as you can see in the video, the president and the vice president were saying this year.
Right.
So, I think they have to be held accountable but no one's doing it. I'm trying to do it, but I got to start with me. So I'm just trying to sue CBS for just blatantly lying about my story. But no, when you call me Tom, I'm in the middle of just reading TikTok, and again, I should be used to it because this is how they operate. But it's just so frustrating that they control and they can shadow ban you and do things to make sure no one sees your content.
Right.
So, when the First Amendment was written back in the day, I think something needs to be done here, because you could go to the public square and say what you had to say, and there was a marketplace of ideas, and the best idea would come out of that. But when you have a mega corporation that's a Chinese one no less, or Google or other ones that are preventing people from speaking their opinion, it's not a public space anymore. And really, you don't have the First Amendment. I mean, if every app I go to, if I'm shut down because they don't like what I'm saying, what First Amendment do I really have?
Right. So is there an appeals process, or you're not even going to bother with that with TikTok?
I don't know. I think I'm going to try to make a shorter video and maybe build a following and then go from there. But it's really frustrating. And it's so weird because when I was making this video, there's different interfaces you use to do different things. And one of them was working just fine, and then it just randomly, it stopped working in the middle of it. And it's a crucial one. It's the one you use to basically add videos onto the app. And I'm like, oh, I'm great. I always think they're doing something to it, but based on what I've seen now, I almost think, it wouldn't really be much. And I'm fairly, I'm a little high profile. Like, I think I'll garner attention. And I'm in there, I know a lot of Chinese people, so I wouldn't be surprised if multiple CCP people were, watching me through the app. It's like when I got my overblown DWI, that you would have thought I killed someone the way the media reacted, for sitting in a parking lot by myself. You would have thought I was John Dillinger. But, is it really paranoia if the feds are actually after you and they are following you? And that's basically what that DWI was, they were following me, but, it's, and I was facing 101 years in prison. So, it's just really frustrating though, because this video I put, it went viral on X. So, X, it's just so good Elon Musk bought that app, because,
right,
boy, he's just doing some great things. Well, I mean, we're so lucky to have him.
He is, and maybe it's the following that I have, but I've seen so much more recently on J6, and so many more people are feeling comfortable talking about it. I think that's part of it, but it's gaining a lot of momentum, I believe. So, and don't forget to talk about the Gateway Pundit article that you just put out, today. So you're getting a lot of coverage there too.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I dropped a Gateway Pundit article, and I said it in the article, going through this prison experience was absolutely horrible. Losing my law school scholarship was absolutely horrible. But when you come home, and that's why I was so depressed when I got home, I'm just looking at all these articles, and then there's things wrong. I mean, looking at the CBS article, and even the title is wrong. It says Cary man, sentenced to 3 years in prison. I'm not even from Cary. I've never lived in Cary in my life. I don't even know where they're getting that from. And it is just despicable. And I'm reading this, and I went to trial, and I was found not guilty on 5 out of 9 charges. And I'm reading it, and it says he was found guilty of assaulting a an officer aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with a significant bodily injury. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. They are literally saying to the world, wrongly, that this guy injured a female cop.
Man.
And you're dead wrong. This is CBS literally saying to the world that this guy wrongly injured a female police officer. I mean, are you kidding me? How does my reputation recover from that?
You know what
I'm
that
not a
sounds
public
like
figure.
to me?
I'm sorry?
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like an invitation to take him to court.
I mean, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. And, you know, I got a law firm. I think they're out of Ohio, but they're obviously licensed to practice in North Carolina. And I got a meeting with them on Tuesday, and I'm scraping the funds together. I have enough, I think, right now, but that's just to retain them. They're going to want, it's $3,500 to retain them, and then they said $7,000 if it goes to litigation. I'm hoping to be able to talk to them and show it to them, and when they see this, I'm hoping they see. Yeah, I'm hoping they're like, look, just retain us, don't worry about it, because, I mean, for absolutely ruining someone's reputation, I don't know what the damages would be for that. But, you know, imagine if a law school saw that I'm applying to, and now they have this image, well, and you know, you can only fix the damage so much. And January 6th is a great example of that, because, you know, oh, Brian Sicknick died of natural causes. Oh, well, that's great. A bunch of people got sentenced to years based on this false narrative, and they're, you know, you can't undo that for them. But that's what the media does. And I experienced it firsthand. They tell a bunch of lies. They overshoot. You know, they cast the net as wide as they can, say whatever. And if something's wrong, you know, they'll correct it later. No harm done. And that's a pattern they've been doing for a long time. But I think I've got them right here, Tom. I think I've got them dead to rights. I mean, they lie. It is truth is an absolute defense against slander and libel and defamation. If it's true, this is untrue. This is 100% false. And not only that, it's been public information for about 7 months by the time the article was written. That had been out and had been more than, you know, and you went to sentencing, so you should have heard my lawyer saying, you should have heard him say, well, the government lost a trial. Oh, wait, they lost a trial. But it was just a lazy slop article, and I think a lot of the people they write about are not public figures, so that if you're not a public figure, it's almost impossible to sue for slander. But I think they forgot, quite frankly, that they're writing about everyday people who are not public figures. So when you get something wrong, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because you're the one introducing this person to the public and making a claim about them, and then it turns out to be false. You just, you know, you put this person in the spotlight and lied about them, and they were just minding their own business. It's even more egregious. And yeah, so it's just disgusting what CBS did, but I think I got them, you know, and I'm hoping I can get some justice out of this. And they're not the only ones, because, you know, I have to keep looking. And it's really hard to look, Tom, because it hurts. It hurts to read this. And they, you know, you could tell that their goal was to hurt me, and it was a total hit piece, because they don't list anything positive about me. And that was also listed and talked about during my trial, was that, oh, Mr. Grant, you know, he had a scholarship, almost a full ride to the University of Alabama Law School. And the judge even talked about it. So, you know, you just didn't want to include that because it might have made me look good.
Right.
But I think that's of interest to the readers, you know?
Right.
So,
right.
But that shows their intent right there, that it was never about even being interesting to the readers. It was damage this guy and make him look as bad as possible.
Well, because
that
fits the narrative. I mean, that's the whole narrative with the overcharging, the sentences that they did. You know, getting as many people locked up as they could. It all fits the narrative of trying to prove that it was an insurrection, and that's so they make every one of you look as bad as it possibly could.
Right, and it just betrays them, though. It shows that they were never, and it's gonna. I don't know, you know. I don't see how they defend that in court, because that was something that was said at the trial, at the sentencing, and it was mentioned extensively and talked about, and it's a point of interest. And it was never about that, you know? But if you're gonna write a hit non-public figure, an everyday person, and you tell the world, oh, hey, this guy he assaulted a woman and hurt her, and you're wrong? Are you kidding me? You destroyed that person's, you know, how much work, our reputations are everything. They outlive us. and you just, absolutely crapped on this person, it gets me worked up because and I went into a state of serious depression when I got home and I was looking at some of this stuff. I said, how am I gonna do this? I was a law student, I got a special needs brother. I volunteered at Humanity. I'm day to day, I think I'm a really nice guy. I think I get along with people. I like to spread positivity. I'm positive everywhere because I would want that to be spread. And they just ran me through the ringer. You'd think I'm just a terrorist the way they wrote this.
Yeah.
And, I think it should also change the narrative, which is the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about, that's really only going around X circles. But 15 million votes, I don't know what the tally is now. I'm sure they found a bunch to try to catch up. But even still, 2020 and 2024, there's a huge jump and votes just don't disappear. So, there's a huge elephant in the room that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
And that's that, January 6th seems to be pretty justified. And the fact that the people who, and 0 police died, and yet we're talking like the side who had 0 deaths are the good guys, and the ones who had 4 people killed were the bad guys, because almost everyone there on January 6th respects the blue, and they're patriots, and I think 80% of them were military. So these are veterans and patriots. So that they're still framing this like they're the aggrieved party.
Right.
The aggrieved party is the party that had 4 people die when they were trying to make their voices heard on what now we know is a stolen election. So
yeah,
it's really frustrating. I'm still waiting for that.
Well, that's going to come out too. I mean, because the more and more, that's the difference. I can't remember who I saw talk about it recently, but the difference between now and 2020 or even 2022 is we've got all the facts of what they've done. So I think you're onto something there. That's going to come around as well. Hey, now remember what I told you, we got calls maybe starting at 7:15, so you can just keep talking until they come in, but because I don't know when they'll actually call. But
wow, it's already 7:14. That goes fast.
It does go fast, but
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I wish my dentist visits went that fast.
So tell
Speaking
us.
of which, I gotta,
Yeah, talk about what else is going on in your life right now besides everything else. The election's over. You did all that volunteer door knocking, which was great. Yeah, you're an example for us all. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. My ACL's still recovering from that, and it's really. I was limping like the second day. I got too cocky and I was, doing all these crazy, jumping from house to house because I was so excited and I loved the job. And it just kind of wore down my ACL. I don't know. It's like kind of a mid to long term injury now. I gotta kind of try to stay off it. But no, that video I made, it took so long to make that, that was literally hours and hours and hours. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'm doing like 50 takes, and it's hard in my house. My family there and stuff. They're hearing the same line get said like 400 times. Like,
it was impressive. It was impressive. I maybe we'll talk to you offline about how you went about that, because you put it together. The storyline was great. If it took you several takes to do it, I get it, but man, I thought you did a great job. So again, where can people go find that?
So that's on my X page at James Grant J6, and you'll see it. It's pinned at the top, but it's also on YouTube, but it's going to be really hard to find on YouTube. The YouTube link is on my X page, but yeah, James Grant J6, one word, and that's where I go to find it.
Maurice,
YouTube videos, yeah.
Maurice,
sorry, yeah.
He's real Chin Frog, by the way.
You told me that's a funny name. But frantically, I'm just trying to get people out, and Tom, that's what I've been doing. Is I still feel like our work's almost just begun in a way, because we got to get this, and it needs to be done on the first wave, because I don't want them to say like, I don't want people to we're going to get to other people, and then years turn to weeks, turn to months, turn to years. And then it never happens, because that's one thing jail prepares you for, is hustles like that, where people are like, I got you, and they never pay you back and stuff like that. We need to pardon everybody on the first wave. Let's just get it done all at once, and then we can focus on making America great again. But the first step is to get these people out that rightfully protested a stolen election, and it's not conscionable to leave even one of these people behind.
I personally agree with you 100%. It is a big debate, with people wanting to go case by case, but I'm telling you what, we live in world, in a society where we used to believe that even one person convicted we'd rather have 10 guilty people go free than one person wrongly convicted. So we got to get back to that.
Right, and you would think no cops dying that day, that's huge for the narrative. So it's been 4 years, everyone's been severely punished. If they were a felon before January 6th, they're still a felon. But for what happened on January 6th, for everything with the undercovers that they still won't tell us how many were there that day, from that to the fact that 4 people were killed, to the fact that several people killed themselves because of, being ran through the mud by the media. Given all that, one of those things alone should be enough to pardon everybody. When you take them all together, I don't know how anyone could be against that. You have to pardon everybody. So, that's really the full-time job I've been on. Because of that stupid DWI, I'm on state and federal probation. So that's almost a full-time job.
Oh.
But, I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm just really trying to make sure everyone gets a pardon. Don't have violent charges saying we need to pardon everybody, because they've gone through it and they know what other people have gone through. So, I'm on sites across the web, just trying to make sure everyone gets a pardon. And it's just, I get so frustrated, Tom, when I see people against that. I mean, how could you million vote difference? How could you be against letting these people out? I mean, if you didn't think so before, even I said that elephant in the room, just it needs to come, and you seem to be confident that it's going to be addressed at some point. I don't know, but the feds in the crowd. None of the feds in the crowd were arrested. They don't do jail time. They don't. I pushed a fence with 5 other people. There was about 45 to 50 people pushing that fence at that moment. I mean, if you watch the initial breach, they picked out 5 people and charged them for starting the whole thing. They laid the blame on us. Meanwhile, people 2 inches to literally touching my shoulder to my left, were never charged. I faced 101 years, and this guy's never charged. In 4 years with facial recognition, AI, phone triangulation, they couldn't find this guy. He's a driver's license. You're telling me this guy doesn't have a driver's license? He's never had one? So, these people didn't get in trouble anyways. Anyone who did, significant jail time, believe me, they protect their own. They wanted to protect Ray on them, so they said, "Oh, give him a stupid misdemeanor and probate." I mean, that was only because there was so much public outcry.
I think he's focused on the few, the snitches, or the ones that maybe they were Antifa or whatever that did get arrested. Who I'm talking about.
Right.
But even they have served more time than they would have gotten had it been any other situation. So I think they've had enough of it already. But you're right. The other ones are the ones.
And I told my lawyer, I said, "Rob, how are these people not getting charged? This guy's right next to me." And they said his defense was, "Well, they can charge whoever they want." But I mean, you're doing the same exact thing. You're saying I did this. I mean, yeah, I guess they can charge who they want up to a point. But when we're talking about literally the definition of selective prosecution, and I've just been screaming about this for years, and like you said, it seems like people are finally looking at January 6th now, and it's like I'm tired of screaming, but I think never, because people are finally listening. And that video, I had like 1,200 followers before it, and I think I got like a little over 3,000 now. So
wow.
I think now's the time I got to really talk about it. But I'm getting strikes on my account on TikTok, so I don't know if they're going to ban me soon for trying to post this video.
Honestly, I don't think TikTok is a big loss.
I know. I want to reach, I know there's a lot of people on there, and I just know I want to reach them, but I guess I'll have to do it.
It's a dense crowd of dense people.
The thing is, though, I'm on an app called Discord, and I got a friend group there, and it's really, it's a lot of like young 20-year-olds. And I got great results when I was telling them about January 6th, and I'm saying, yeah, this cop sucker punched me. And they're like,
Actually using the Charlie Kirk approach. To college students all across the country wearing red hats.
no, that's amazing. And he's doing big things, and he's become like a huge voice for our side. And the right has so many influencers that are we got some I think are not so good, like Nick. And he tries to claim like he went to January 6th and stuff. I'm like, dude, don't.
He's a
right,
griper. He's a griper.
And yeah, there's a whole bunch of drama with that. But no, it's I just want to. I would like to get these people going on TikTok, but I guess I'll have to go about it in a different way. But No, my main goal right now is I really want to just clear my name, and that's like a full. The damages be for that. If you wrongly said someone injured a woman, how you're not going to be able to reach everyone that article reached and undo that. So now there's tens of thousands of people that just think this guy. When I was knocking doors for Trump, I was in Cary because they send you to different locations, and I was talking about. I don't tell everyone I'm a January 6er, but I was talking. I didn't tell this one. And she was talking about January 6th and everything. She said, yeah, they just sentenced the guy from Cary last week. And it was me she was talking about. But, so that just, yeah, is that not, and I was like, I wanted to tell her, but I didn't say anything. Like, oh my gosh. But, to a retraction, the damage is done. And like I said, you see that with January 6th.
So
the only reason, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If you were successful at finishing college and getting your law degree and ultimately becoming an attorney, what do you suppose your lifetime income would have been?
Right. So I don't know. What does an average attorney make? We'll just put it like something conservative at. We'll just say $100,000, maybe.
That's too conservative.
So
at least,
yeah, right.
At least 3.
Okay. So we'll do 250 because that's a clean number, and say what? I'm already 30. So, you know, like yeah, 20 years. I don't know, what's 20 times 20?
5 million. It's 5 million. 5 million. Plus punitive damages. Plus punitive damages.
Right, for having to come after them and stuff. But, I mean, they've literally almost single-handedly closed that career for me. And
they did.
Like I said, there's people that I can't reach, that I can't fix this with. And if a law school saw that, even if, oh, actually that was wrong, he just pushed the fence, they're going to say, I don't want to touch any of that. Because the well's been poisoned. And basically that's, the well being my reputation, that's what they did. So I got a meeting with the lawyers this Tuesday to retain them. And I'm really hoping I hear some good things. But I mean, like I said, the truth is the ultimate defense against slander. They don't have that. It is not true. They affirmed it. They said he was found guilty at trial, and it wasn't like this was some little known factoid. This was public information on the DOJ's website. So it was just completely sloppy and a total sloppy hit job. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, no, I mean, I would like to go back to law school, but I mean, I don't know what schools are going to say when they get.
Okay, let me flip that over on you just a little bit. What do you suppose the schools would say if they didn't see you try?
Yeah, I don't. It's a tough question. You know, right now I'm just waiting for hopefully to get a pardon, and that's step one. And
Yep.
you know, really, it's just such a massive undertaking that I'm facing. I'm.
Oh.
So you know, right now it's get that felony off and get your record as clean. You know, because you have to, when you apply to a law school, you have to explain every single charge you have on your record. If you have like a C in the class or something, they want you to do destroying fake news, because that's where it's going. But fake news, because that's where it's going. But you can donate at givesendgo.com/James Grant, and my name, very simple, JAMESGRANT. And yeah, no, I mean, you guys said it, but I really think, oh my gosh, it's just. I would just be so happy if I could clear my name. I could just, that's really all I want. You know, it's just so frustrating though. And I was saying before, I went into a huge state of depression when you see the media slander. When the media, I understand how Matthew Perna killed himself. I mean, I was looking at 101 years in prison, and that DWI was, blasted everywhere. It was really hard, and I just kind of didn't look at the internet for a while after that, and then shortly after, and then the media reaction to that was the reason I actually served 2 months extra when all was said and done. Months, but with good time, I actually done almost 2 months extra. And the reason I was being held that whole time was because of that happened with that incident when I was remanded to custody, which again is the most overblown incident. I went to go, I was getting messages from the storage unit for another $80 a month. I had sold about everything I had, so I'm trying to get money for a lawyer, because my first lawyer doesn't answer the phone, and I had to get a new lawyer, ask the courts to appoint me a new one. So I go to sell my rifle, I'm being followed by several unmarked undercover FBI. And so I want to go sell it. I pull up at Cabela's, and this guy keeps acting like he's going to swarm me as soon as I open the door. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go to a Denny's, and I'm just thinking, the next thing I know, like 10 cops pull in. And the reason they gave for showing up changes. It was a suicide threat. And they never even went inside the building. So whatever it was, I know what it was. It was the FBI calling them. They were following me, no, and then for a split second when I'm handcuffed, out of just pure frustration, I like just jerked for a second, like, oh. And then they add in the article, and now in all the articles, he tried to flee. No, I didn't. Oh my God. For a split second, I jerked, and they said he resisted arrest and tried to flee. I'm like, if I wanted to get away, trust me, I'd have scrapes on my face, and I would have gotten away at least momentarily.
Right.
But it's, oh my gosh. I was trying to help my lawyer with the case, and I basically had to do it alone. That lawyer I called 40 plus times, and that's a conservative estimate, from jail. He didn't answer the phone once.
Right.
And he only visited me twice over 13 months as I sat in Northern Neck Regional Jail for 13 months and 1 week. And so you're just, facing 101 years. He once was to tell me, oh yeah, your plea deal is level 31, 87 to 108 months. Okay, bye. And then I go back to the unit, and I just got this news that I pushed a fence, and it's like a bad dream. Even getting arrested was like, what am I arrested for? I'm even around going back to that incident. I was staying up, and I was trying to figure out how to beat my case, and I figured, I was facing 101 years, but just the way the media's written it up, and I think I tell Tom this all the time, but my media treatment was so much worse than like most of the other J6ers. And I don't know if it's because like they looked at me and they said, oh wait, hold on, he's a law school student. He makes these TikTok videos. He could be dangerous. Let's destroy him ahead of time. Because I got it so bad. I mean, it could have just been, oh, it's perfect. So maybe it was some of that. But I mean, other January 6ers did not get it. Now maybe it was my proximity, where I was at. But
yeah, you were right at the front there. That what they keep calling the initial breach, and the question around here, you mentioned the 32 months, and part of that was due to the First Step Act, right?
No, I didn't get the First Step
You
Act.
did it.
Pushing the fence. It was
Okay.
assault with a deadly weapon.
Oh, even though it's as to why you didn't, and it's as to why you didn't, and you just answered it. We here in those
Yeah.
halfway houses are no fun thing either. They're actually
Really?
almost worse in ways.
Oh, jeez.
So unfortunately, they're a whole nother part of the system that is really just down and dirty and nasty. I haven't heard any good things coming from anybody that's been in a halfway house yet.
I know these guys are in hell, and you don't sleep well in prison. You really don't sleep. You're never in a relaxed state. Even now, I'm just learning. I had a dream I was in jail last night, and they were transferring people, I guess, which they don't transfer you when you're sick, but I guess they did in my dream. And people were in these really small wooden boxes. And in the first go, I understand President Trump didn't want to pardon everyone the first time around. Heat was really high. But, it's been 4 years, and I know he will, but I just can't leave it up to chance because the alternative is undoable, that my friends would be left in there. These are good guys. These are, like I said, 80% veterans, and the ones that aren't veterans are business owners like Greg Purdy, or, a law student like myself. There are so many good people. And I've really never talked about this, but I didn't particularly want to go to January 6th. I would have liked to have stayed. But I couldn't have looked at myself, I'm a young man, healthy man. I just figured if we didn't stop, if we let them steal it from President Trump, we don't have a country anymore because we'll never get another one. We'll never get a JFK. I think President Trump's the greatest, but, for the other people who love, like JFK and stuff, how could you let him steal an election? Because if JFK came around again, they would steal it from him again, especially in the JFK would have to run as a Republican to ever be able to get through the primaries of the DNC. They would do like they did to Bernie Sanders. Right, yeah. And I think now you guys have seen that Kamala said she admitted she was never up in any polls from the internal.
2028, and I think that's only so that they'll continue to donate some money to her to help her upside down situation. That's the only reason.
She was going to fix the economy, though. Yeah, she was given $1 billion to run and ended up in debt. I mean, it almost writes itself. It's almost too much comedy. It's really like the tier of irony is just out of control. I mean, you couldn't write this stuff.
No, you
It's
couldn't.
really crazy.
You couldn't. Hey, I tell you what.
And my friends need these pardons. And I don't see not be a felon would be absolutely great. So that's why, you know, he's absolutely going to do it. But I just worry that there's people in his ear. And there's, oh, you can't pardon, you know. So I do think we're winning the battle and the narrative on Twitter. I do think people like the Hodge twins and a ton of replies that said like, hey, no, everybody, these people have been, you know, it was entrapment, this, you know, overblown fake charges. And people just don't understand the scope of it. Of like, you brush up against a cop on the shoulder, you're getting a 111A federal assault on a federal official. You look like, it is literally like trip and bump into someone and you get a felony assault on a police officer. And that's really why I'm spurred on to try to share this on TikTok, because I got such good responses from these people on Discord that I think it really would kill on TikTok. But again, I guess I'm just thinking out loud, but I got to brainstorm a way. I guess I got to kind of ease my way in there with TikTok. Again, does anyone know what shared truths I'm not acknowledging? I mean, are they saying what? Anything with the elect, like 2020, like you can't upset the apple cart?
So they only nudge a little bit, except for like what they did.
Hey, there's our call coming in,
we're getting a
James.
call.
Talk to you
Okay,
soon.
well, hey, it's been great. Thanks, guys. GiveSendGo.com/James Grant. It's been great to talk to you guys.
Wonderful talking to you. See you. Good night.
And that Give Send Go is in the chat.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $25.33. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Cheryl.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a little bit of a difficult week, but I'm hanging in there.
Good.
We're doing okay. Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was a little different than the way that I normally spend it,
Yeah.
but I was very pleased to hear my baby's having a good Thanksgiving. It's great to have a good Thanksgiving, being able to spend it with your family.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that, and friends.
Next year you'll be home.
Yeah, I keep praying for it. I have sentencing December 20th.
Right.
And
They're saying that we can't hear it.
it's got me a little nervous, but I just know that God has better plans for me than what is in store for me on that. I just realized that my credit was destroyed, and one of my cell phone bills went to collections, and then there was supposed to be 21 people, different friends and customers in the community that were going to write letters on my behalf. And out of 21 people, only 3 people wrote letters, and we had given them over a month, and I wrote to everyone, and talking about all the different stuff and how this has impacted me, in every aspect. And then that just saddened me, because I'd be there for them no matter times are, how bad the situation is. And I just look over all this report, and here they did a credit report, and I start finding everything out. And she told me that she was really sad that she just wasn't able to make all the ends meet, and she didn't want to upset me or worry me about everything. So it was just all of that. But then I had started the book that you sent me about the intellectual case of Christ, paragraphs about he's referencing basically COVID and different things, and he's going through and he's talking about all these different divine observations and things that are being made, the observers takes place in standstill force, and I guess it's called the observer's effect. And then he goes all the way down and I've never really thought about like reincarnation and stuff, and he like throws like around his opinions and beliefs in their daily lives, so that they lose their focus on their relationship with their Father and forget to leave their worries with God. So like then all the way to I got to this one section where it was talking about the church is closed while liquor stores open and strip clubs. Our children deprived of education and social camaraderie for all these restaurants and small bars. I've seen that so much. And then people being like with me, my family was giving me a hard time, like my adopted family, because I wouldn't get vaccinated and I wouldn't wear a mask. And then he started talking about ridiculed for choosing natural medicines while demonic remedies other nations. And then he goes, fear is the tool of the devil.
Right.
And then it goes, fear, and then he talks about fear not in the Bible is written 432 times. And do God's message, stand up and do not be afraid, is to be bold warriors for our faith, standing up to Satan at every opportunity. And it's just like this whole like last few years, whenever COVID came, and then whenever the stuff that was, talked about that brought everybody to the Capitol, and then, during this time, where I'm looking at risking losing everything not looking to, have been already losing everything I've ever worked for. And, I've just been trying to be bold, strong, and courageous this whole time, not only for my family, myself, but also for everyone that I've came across in the country, just so that way I can try to be somewhat of a living testimony and be able to share my experiences of my life to maybe help somebody, have a better understanding of what life's about, and how hard times get, not to give up and just keep pushing on. And it's just like you said, with me not coming out of my cell, but like a half an hour or 2 hours a day if I'm lucky. Right. It's a lot of time to think about that stuff. And it's, I'm asking myself, I'm like, man, did I do things wrong? What could I have done differently? Everything I feel like had gotten out of hand, and, things happened that wasn't meant to happen. And it's stuff that I don't know and understand, and I'm still trying to work it all out, but it's hard to feel as if, things are right whenever your family's sitting there and you're watching everything that, you've built just slowly fade away, and all the way to relationships that now seem like they were meaningless.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about the letters that didn't get written, but I don't know, there's reasons for people doing this, why you have a chance to speak out and everybody else does, because I was at J6. I arrived late. That's probably the only reason I wasn't up in the front with everybody else. I don't know, but for some reason I wasn't there on time. But what happened to you could have happened to so many other people. It was just that you were at that place at that particular time. So that's why the rest of us have to take it on, that we have to support you guys. We have to get your stories out, and we have to let people know that what they did to you is wrong, and we're not going to stand for it. And you're having to suffer through this time right now, expecting the worst and hope for the best. But it's what you got to do, and I'm going to be there if I can. I'm absolutely going to be there with you to support you. So, and as will other people.
Thank you.
We'll get through this, man.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You guys just, yesterday I was sitting there thinking about all the things I'm thankful for, and you guys are like right on the top of the ticket about the things I've been thankful for going through this, Because even with my family and stuff, sometimes it's like they lose hope, and you guys don't lose hope. You guys have been there, every Friday and the days in between, Friday, still advocating for us, writing letters, and just talking to people and making sure we're not forgotten. And I'm just so thankful for all of you guys, from the Centennials to Cheryl's letters that go out to everybody. Just it's amazing the support you guys have provided for all of us, and it's like nothing I've ever seen or experienced before. And I tell you that if it wasn't for you guys being with me along the way, man, this would be a cold, dark place, and I'd just be clutching to my Bible and then a phone call to Brittany and the kids every once in a while whenever they answer, because you know, if it wasn't for people putting money on the books and stuff, I wouldn't even be able to call home.
Well,
my family wouldn't have a house, and it's just.
I'm glad you got your Bible. I don't know what people would do in your situation without that faith, you know, that to cling to, and support one another and help one another. You're kind of having to wing it by yourself. So, no, I feel for you, and anything we can do, you know, just ask. We'll help.
Just keep doing what you guys are doing.
Right.
I can't ask for nothing more. You guys are fantastic, and you're navigating this very well.
So, are you able to? How are you feel learning about the outside world? What's going on?
So on the tablet they have a news section, and it's 3 cents a minute. But I jump on there really quick. I read as much as I can, as fast as I can, and I jump off just so that way I can be conservative. And then, you know, I'm supposed to get out 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday you don't leave your room at all. And then whenever you get into the TV room, they'll put you in there with a group of guys, if you make it there, which usually they let you out long enough to take a shower, and then you have to go back to your cell. But if you do make it to the TV room, you know, trying to watch the news instead of
sentencing or a trial in D.C., it's very easy actually to get in there, to find parking. You can park on the street, you can park in a garage. 9 is a little tough because I think the on-street parking starts at 9 o'clock, opens up at 9 o'clock. But simple security process, just like you're going through the airport, not even that bad. And you can go in and find the courtroom and sit and listen. It's worth doing. It's really, really, this is historic, what's happening to these guys and the way these things are being run. I highly recommend it.
We're frozen, have been for about 5 minutes.
You're welcome to get up and check it out anytime you want.
I don't have a magic wand that can fix it. The weather is what's causing the problem.
It still looks like we're going here. So the timer, you know, the ticker is working. So are you sure it's just not on your end?
I'm pretty sure. Frozen. Buffering, frozen.
Yeah.
I got 6,000 kilobytes, which is great, 16 feet per second. I don't know.
Well, people are saying frozen. Might be working now.
I can always tell when it's frozen out there because the count of watchers drops to 1. That would be.
So we also have another sentencing coming up in December 6th, and that would be